we just wrapped up your install here in beautiful San Luis Obispo.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess I just wanted to come to you as somebody who also, has experience in installing solar, your last install. Maybe you could kind of go into how that went, and just kind of understanding, as somebody who has a little bit more knowledge than some of the other clients that we've worked with, what was some of the reasons why you decided to go with a licensed contractor versus just doing it yourself again?
Well, it's a great question. I really enjoyed my experience with my first install in the Bay Area. I designed it myself with the help of an outsourced design group that did design drawings for me for permits. But otherwise, I designed everything myself and I installed everything myself, and it was a great experience. But when it came time to do this install, the stakes were just a little bit higher. I was comfortable with the basics, but I just felt like I wanted this to be extra clean. I didn't want to get up there and have any missteps with any of the choices that I had made. And honestly, I found real value in the warranty, right? The prospect of having to dig back into the system in 5 or 8 or 12 years was just not appealing to me. And so this time I wanted to go with somebody professional, local, good reputation, and I think this was a total win. I'm super happy with the way this came together.
Well, I'm glad you're so happy. I know, with your beautiful garage, I think it's really one of those ideal installations, and you kind of made it easy for us.
I sort of had a vision for exactly this for a long time, and I just put it off and I put it off because I actually shopped a lot. I shopped a lot between different providers because with the knowledge I had from my last job, I could really look under the hood on the proposals, price quotes, and it ultimately really paid off for me. I was able to get really a great system at a great price by being patient and really doing my homework. And you're right, it's a great spot for an array just like that. And I think it looks nice and clean on this house and this garage, and that's what I wanted. And frankly, a couple of the other firms that I had quote this project really didn't seem to hear me when I talked about the aesthetics that I was going for. They had either processes or policies or just ideas of their own. They wanted to put the panels where they wanted to put them and not where I wanted to put them. Those were some of the false starts that I went through. So price, definitely a factor. Getting the system that I was comfortable with the design and the placement. Those were all big factors for me.
Where did you get some of the information that helped you kind of figure out what you really wanted out of this?
Well, I think in the beginning, it was just a natural curiosity. I mean, in a way, it's kind of magical to just put some panels up on your house and all of a sudden it's literally powering your whole house and your electric cars, and it's silent and like no moving parts. It's pretty magical. I think that has a charm that kind of made me curious about it. And years ago when I started looking into it, I learned about the efficiency of the different panels, and I learned about microinverters versus string inverters, and who all the major suppliers were. And I even looked at sort of do-it-yourself kits that you can buy off the internet and so forth. So it just was a little bit of a hobbyist mentality, just to educate myself. And over time, the online material, the online tools have just gotten better and better and better. If you want to really look under the hood, you can get down into the details of exactly how all these these pieces, parts go together, how they work. You can model for yourself what your productivity is going to be over 25, 30 years. I was fortunate in the early days to get a couple of proposals from a couple of firms up in the Bay Area, and I just asked them for their Excel model. I'm like, can you send me the Excel model that you use to sort of do your forecasting,
for modeling the
production and the cost. And so I became familiar pretty quickly with really how spectacular the value proposition is. And then you make some basic assumptions about what retail electricity rates are going to be in 5 or 10 years, and it's a total no-brainer. I would say that what I think benefited the most from in this recent go-around was really shopping between providers, because everybody's proposal looks fantastic when you compare it to the utility company's base rate and projected future rates. But if you take the extra time to solicit 3 or 4 quotes from different firms, then you can really see some difference. And I would venture to guess that even with my background in this and my previous experience, I would say that I probably saved, depending on the provider, between 15 and 40% by going with this system, and that's real money. So if I had gone with the first 1 or 2 proposals that I saw, I would not have had such a great outcome. But the installation was super clean, super like your crew yesterday, fantastic. Really nice guys, showed up on time. I was able to sort of chat with them, banter with them a little bit, talk about what's going on. So super nice guys, and it's done and it's clean, and I'm happy. I have other friends who have gone a little bit of a different route with their systems, and they signed power purchase agreements. Mm-hmm. This is in the Bay Area, and they're happy with those systems because they didn't have to buy it outright and so on and so forth. But my cost to produce my own power is less than half of what they committed to in their purchase agreement. And when the install goes as easily and as cleanly as this does, like no fuss, no muss for me. So it's not like I feel like I gave up anything. So it was all upside for me.
And this way you get the tax credit.
Yep.
If it's time to sell, now you have an asset that increases your property value. And compared to a power purchase agreement, you could either buy that contract out at the time or transfer it over to the new homeowner, but you're not going to tend to see quite as much of an increase in equity when selling a property with a PPA when compared to a outright owned system. So.
Right. Yeah, and I sized it not just for my current needs, but for future projected needs. Mm-hmm. Like we don't have AC in this house. It's all sort of naturally cooled, and there are those days when we could really benefit from some air conditioning.
Even here in the Central Coast.
Yeah, but you get those hot weeks, those hot days, and just it'd be nice to have a little AC capacity.
Yeah.
And now I mean even with that projected load, I had no problem covering all of my usage.
Yeah, and I'm sure you could go ahead and take some of that additional. If you don't mind, how much extra did you increase your capacity?
I think we sized it to be approximately 50% greater than our current usage.
Okay.
Because we also have plans to potentially add an ADU.
Okay.
So between electric cars, air conditioning, and ADU, we have pretty significant, projected future loads that are not reflected right now in our usage. So
I get people calling me about it every day saying, hey, the gas bill went up 200% last month.
Yeah, the industry's really come a long way, and I think you guys are, it's a pretty buttoned down outfit. Did great work for me. I got nothing but the best things to say about the experience. So
sweet. Well, thank you so much, Joe.
You bet.